Okay, what up ladies and gents? It's your favorite Asian robot, hopefully your favorite Helldivers 2 content creator, and what I'm gonna say here today is that a new Warbond is dropping and I'm not hyped. Some people might feel that I've become excessively negative about the game. Alright, I'm gonna say it straight as I always have, I don't give a rat's ass what you think. Because for me, there's only one thing that I've always delivered to my audience, and that is my honest opinion. Good, bad, whether you want to hear the truth, whether you want to hear it or not, you can block out your ears and go la 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 la. But I'm just here to bring you the truth as I see it. Whether you agree or disagree, up to you. You don't agree, you can find somebody else to watch and you can agree with their opinions all you like. Look, I'm here to bring you my truth. I'm here to bring you my opinion, right? So let me talk about this new Warbond that's coming on the 13th of June. The Viper Commandos drops on the 13th of June. It is clearly inspired by Predator, or so they say. So there are some pretty cool looking skins, but pretty much these are Catacan jungle fighters. There you go. Those of you who know Warhammer, ta-da, Catacan jungle fighters. That's literally what we are. Down to the red beret, although they use a red bandana or red headband instead. In fact, even the knife right there, kind of reminiscent. But anyway, Catacan jungle fighters are tough as nails, and quite frankly, the Viper Commandos are tough as nails as well. Their Warbond alludes to that, and you know, normally I would go through the trailer and stuff, but I'll give you the link. You can watch the trailer for yourself if you want. I'm gonna use a little bit of it at the end to sort of nitpick, but that, like I said, I'll save for later in the video. So the Viper Commandos Warbond, I'm just gonna go scroll down here to the summary section, is a little bit different to the previous Warbonds that we have encountered. This Warbond comes with one primary weapon down from the previous three, one secondary weapon. It's got 3 skins. I'm not talking armor skins. It's a skin for your Pelican, skin for your Hellpod, and skin for your Exosuit. It comes with a grenade. Let me just remove my cam there for a second. Okay. Excuse me. Now, the knife that you're seeing here, the K2 throwing knife, is actually a grenade. It's not a melee weapon. Experimental infusion is the booster, 300 super credits, standard, 2 player banners down from 3, 2 capes down from 3, emotes and victory poses, a player title, which is different again, and 2 armor sets down from 3. So we are losing 1 armor set, 2 primary weapons, 1 banner, 1 cape. But we are getting some other stuff, including patterns, titles, and well, I have to admit, okay, the most badass thing about this is the simple fact that this skin here on the right is the coolest looking thing I've ever seen. I'm gonna say it straight, you know, and I did it on stream as well. I would have dropped the $10 just for the helmet skin alone. Now, I'm glad that Arrowhead doesn't do microtransactions like that, thank God, and we should all be thankful for that. All right, but this alone would have been worth my $10. So, and the fact that you can get super credits for free in the game, yeah, I would have bought this Warbond just for this skin alone, even if it added nothing to the game. That being said, there are some negatives that we have to address, and we can expect better. So, what are the so-called negatives about all this, and what is it that I do not like about this Warbond? Okay, I'm gonna go through this section by section. We're gonna address them one at a time. All right, hear me out. Okay, the first thing that I have a serious problem with is the Liberator Carbine. Let me take a look at what is shown in the trailer. This is the Liberator Carbine. All right, it's an assault rifle with a similar fire rate to the Stalwart, but take note that it was only shown, I know it's a very short clip, but it was only shown to have shot warriors and scavengers, typical things that you'd mostly see on lower difficulties. Again, I would like to see some of these trailers showcased in Diff 9. Please showcase the weapon's performance in a trailer under Helldive conditions. That is the only way I'll accept this. I cannot accept this if you show it on any other difficulty. Showing me blasting down scavengers and warriors is all well and good, but what about the hive guards? Can I please see some of that? Because either that or automatons, because that would change my perspective. Then again, I did remember the Plasma Purifier trailer where they were blasting Scout Striders from the front, and that did not happen. So that was a big disappointment. And for those people that are excessively positive, look, you know, if you take offense to me calling you a corporate lapdog, then, you know, that's on you. But you are kind of a corporate lapdog and a dev, as I would crudely put it, dick sucker, because you are quite literally some idiot that said, yeah, man, the Purifier was great, despite many people being so disappointed with it and, you know, feeling like they got cheated because the trailer showed it taking on Scout Striders from the front and it couldn't actually do that. Okay, this is not how the game is supposed to work, all right? Trailers should show the capabilities of these weapons under Helldive situations. Bit of feedback for Arrowhead, please do that if you want people to not be mad when your weapons come out. Now, if we read the PlayStation blog on this weapon, it states that the Liberator Carbine is a modified, shortened form factor that handles differently from the true classic, with a bit higher recoil, but faster handling and feels perfect for spraying and praying up close. So it's a spray and pray type weapon, but we all know how the Breaker spray and pray went. So you'll see this is a constant theme throughout my criticisms, but everything is basically going to rest on the patch. If the patch sets the tone that weapons are going to be balanced around Helldive, which they should have been in the first place, then this might be a true contender for those people that like, you know, getting up close and personal with enemies, which would actually suit the armor's passive, FYI. Okay, so before we can judge this, I really need to say that it depends on their attitude toward weapon balance. Please don't try and balance weapons around diff 4, 5, 6, because you could literally use anything in those rounds and succeed. Yes, Helldive is meant to be a challenge, but at least give us some tools to take on the challenge so that it's more than just bringing one set loadout or 2-3 set loadouts and then the rest. Sure, you can play stratagem roulette like we've done on stream and succeed in Helldive, FYI, but is it fun? No. At least make it so that, you know, to some extent, you've got 4 or 5 different viable loadouts, and I mean like seriously viable, not caters to only this one playstyle. No, make them viable for Helldive. Okay, and again, this is another Liberator variant. Like we have enough Liberators. All right, please give us interesting and distinct weapons. And people have challenged me and they say, well, what would you put in the Warbond? Okay, let me discuss my idea for the Warbond. Okay, so here's my idea for what I would have included in the Warbond. People always be challenging me and saying, can you come up with something better? Yes, I freaking could. Keeping with the theme of the Viper Commandos as being like, you know, all jungle and, you know, I'm assuming Viper poison here. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, here's what I would have introduced. Instead of the Liberator Carbine, how about the Liberator Corruptor? This would be a Liberator type AR that fires corrosive rounds at your enemies. Every hit will reduce enemy armor over time and deal damage over time. Think gas damage. A similar weapon would be the Breaker Incendiary, alright? Except that instead of using fire, this one uses, you know, acid. Key differences are this. The Liberator Corruptor will melt armor over time. It would be a single target as opposed to Breaker Incendiary, which sprays an area, and it can take down the big boys like charges and things, well, eventually. I wouldn't make it so OP that, you know, it can instantly melt through a charger, but being able to take it down from the head or with the leg, yes. Why not? We have the technology. Why not the Viper Commandos be the first Warbond whereby we started taking lessons from the enemy? So, Terminids always use acid. Now, how about distilling down Terminid acid from the Bile Titans that we've hunted, and we get this, Liberator Corruptor. It could make it a very interesting weapon with a key difference in that it can corrode through armor. I would love to melt automatons with a weapon like this, alright? If you got a better idea, let me hear it in the comments. But this is what I would have done with the primary weapon. Let's move on to my next criticism. Okay, so my next bit of criticism is the throwing knife, alright? Let's go through that. Bushwhacker I didn't have too many problems with. I think it's okay, as long as it's not another light armor penetration shotgun. Okay, throwing knife. Here's the big issue. The video looks cool, but it only shows you killing one warrior. One warrior. So the throwing knife is single target. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Anyway, coming back to this point, alright. Baskinator says that one of their favorite things in the Viper Commandos is the new utility item, the throwing knife. Imagine mowing down a crowd of Terminids running out of ammo with only one bug remaining, no time to reload, so you dive backward and throw a hunting knife into its carapace. Sounds good on paper. How many Helldives have you seen where there's only one bug coming at you when you need to reload? Because last I checked, there were a lot of hunters coming at me in Helldive. This is why whenever you make an opinion on something, you cannot be making an opinion on it. You mowed down a crowd of tournaments on what? Difficulty 4? Please play Helldive only. Any opinion shared on these weapons needs to be shared at Helldive difficulty. I've said it in the first round, I'll say it again. Yes, we are aware that people don't only play Helldive. Many people still enjoy just difficulty 7. That's okay. But you're gonna give your opinion on this, you gotta be fair as well. Let's see its performance in Helldive, then we'll talk, okay? Now, a single target knife has problems. It has mondo problems that you have to understand. You are literally replacing your grenades for this. Your grenades are AoE, and in many situations, they have utility as well. Stuns, for instance. So what does the knife bring to the table? A similar game, Dark Tide, has a throwing knife on the Zealot character class. Take note, however, that the throwing knife is different from other consumables. Other grenades require you to find a grenade drop on the map to restock. The knives do not. If you kill a special or an elite, I believe it is a special in melee, all right, you will get a knife back. It could be an elite as well. I've forgotten since it's been so long since I played that game. But every time you kill one, you get a knife back, which means you can use your knives pretty freely and keep restocking them as you go. The knives basically became like a supplementary ranged weapon, and at one point they were bugged so that they even got stats from your ranged weapon, which made them super awesome, and then Dark Tide nerfed the fun of those, which was a bad move. Arrowhead, do not learn that from Fat Shark, okay? Don't become Fathead Studios. Please, nerfing fun is bad. You guys have seen what that did to the player base. Don't nerf fun. So, in that game, the throwing knife would have stats from the ranged weapon, allowing you to headshot some pretty badass bosses. Alright, armored bosses as well could take a headshot, and it was pretty much like having an additional range weapon. Single target, yes, but you could do some pretty spiffy things with it. I hope that this hunting knife is the same. You can't just give me 4 hunting knives. Please don't do that, alright? If you're gonna give me hunting knives, they need to be either retrievable, reloadable in some way, or they have to have some form of utility. The throwing knife, if it goes into a target in a weak spot, please make it kill that target, alright? This would turn the hunting knife into a weapon of choice. Meaning that, okay, let's say I've got a brute commander. I hunting knife that guy, right? The brute commander dies instantly, one shot, right? I kill some of the other terminids around with my breaker incendiary. I go pick up the knife, all right? I can use it again. Charger coming at me, runs past me. I throw it into the butt of the charger. Even if it's not one shot, maybe 2 knives into the butt of the charger. Should kill it. I retrieve them. There you go. If it was retrievable, that kind of gameplay is possible, and it makes you a real commando. You know, you've got this additional tool in your arsenal. That's fine. If you're telling me you give me 4 knives, I have to take a supply box to get 2 back. Please don't do that. Alright, so one of my major criticisms of this knife is that it is not useful. You're giving up a grenade with AoE. One thing which could have been better for the Viper Commandos is why not you give us a gas grenade? It fits the Viper theme. Poison, I'm assuming. This is basically everyone's calling this a defanged Viper. There's no poison in it. Why not the gas grenade? We have incendiary grenades. We've got 2 incendiary grenades. Give us a gas grenade. That would have been pretty cool. Throw the gas grenade out there, psss, and you know, enemies are all like dying and stuff. Like, that would have fit Viper Commandos. You know, corrosive gas. You know, I'm a real commando operative in the jungle. I use the enemy's acid against them. That would have been such a cool theme. Fits again with the Liberator Corruptor that I talked about initially. So this throwing knife is another one of my major criticisms. Either they give us a lot of throwing knives that we can utilize freely in the field, or make it retrievable. It has to be either retrievable, or, you know, there has to be something that makes this knife worth using over a grenade. It cannot just be a cosmetic cool thing because you're actually giving up a utility slot in the game. Okay, that's it for the knife criticism. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so my next criticism is about the experimental infusion booster. The experimental infusion booster, basically what it does is that it gives our stims the added bonus of boosting movement speed and reducing the damage you take for a short time. The problem is, how short is a short time? If you're telling me that it lasts as long as the stim does, then I'm gonna have to use it with medic armor. I'm sacrificing a booster for example, Vitality, which applies throughout the entire match to my whole team, so that when I stab the stim into myself for 6 seconds, I've got boosted movement speed and reduced damage taken. Like, I'm not quite sure what the idea of that is. I get that they're going for like an adrenaline shot kind of thing. Sure, it sounds cool on paper, but again, we have to look at the realistic time and duration of the effect. Unless you're telling me that this booster is going to reduce my damage for a whole 2 minutes and turn me into like a tanking monstrosity, then sure, why not? Hell, I'll even take 1 minute of reduced damage and increased movement speed so I can, you know, take the stim like an adrenaline shot and then give as good as I get. But this experimental infusion doesn't really give me a lot of confidence, because what am I going to replace for it? I'm not going to replace a stamina booster. I'm certainly not going to replace something as useful as muscle enhancement, which lets me traverse terrain, which slows me down constantly, especially on jungle planets and things like that. So why would I take this? I don't understand. Everything for this booster, it really boils down to the duration. I said as much on stream. You know, again, people are going to tell me I'm excessively negative. I really don't care what you think, because quite frankly, a 6-second boost is not enough for me to justify. Like, does anyone take flexible reinforcements other than as a troll pick? Like, it's literally one of the biggest picks that is considered a troll pick, because you're giving up something useful for that. Unless you're going to tell me that Hellpod space optimization is going to be given to everybody baseline, or they change it into like one of the ship module upgrades so we don't have to use it as a booster, and then we can have experimental infusion in its place, then absolutely I will take that. But otherwise no. Otherwise no, I would really not want to have this. So I can't foresee a use for experimental infusion unless the duration is something like 1 minute long. A 1 minute boost, I'll take that. I will literally take medic armor just to use this boost, and maybe the medic armor can extend it for a little bit as well. But giving me a 1 minute adrenaline rush, that would be pretty cool, not gonna lie. So this one depends entirely on the duration of how long this lasts. Okay, on to my next point of contention. Okay, the last thing that I have to address in this entire Warbond is the armor. I love how the armor looks, but I love the fact that the passive is unique, so it's not another engineering kit, thank God. But with only 2 armors, most likely they're gonna be like light and medium, or maybe both will be light, I don't know. But they come with a pretty interesting passive, which is unique. It's called Peak Physique. It improves melee damage and weapon handling. So I don't know what weapon handling specifically means, most likely recoil reduction, and it improves melee damage. So you could run up and like probably bash creatures to death. But the problem is that melee is not heavily used in this game except for meme runs. So realistically speaking, if you're going to give me a melee option, why don't we have melee weapons? Although this opens up the door for potential future melee weapons, which I think would be pretty damn cool, one thing which we have to understand is that even if you're improving melee damage, how much is it being improved by? Can I pimp slap a Devastator? Can I go head to head and punch out a Berserker? Because if you're not giving me that option to run up to a Berserker and berserk that thing down, maybe it's not as good as it should be. Unless, of course, in future they introduce melee weapons as the secondary weapon, then hey, we could build on this. Like, I would use this armor solely because of using it as a skin, but I'm not super impressed with this thing. Rather, we discussed ideas on stream, and like people asked me what would I have done in place of this. I would have turned this into an even better stealth set. This is based off the idea of the Katakan jungle fighters, whereby, you know, they really know the jungle so well that they can take out enemies unaware and just like, you know, absolutely rip them to shreds. I would have made it so that when you are prone or crouching, you move at 300% speed. 300% of your prone and crouching speed, not of your normal movement speed, please. So basically, you would move 4 times faster while prone or crouching, and you would have damage reduction while prone or crouching. That's what I would have done with this armor set. Rather than buffing the melee, you know, and you could add in a melee buff as well if you really wanted to, but rather than weapon handling, I would have made it so that you can move faster while prone or crouch, allowing for more active stealth play, which would lean into the whole jungle commando vibe. But since this one boosts weapon handling and melee damage, then fair enough, you know, it is what it is. I don't foresee it being used very often, but it comes down to, you know, what creative ways people can come up, you know, like with what kind of creative ways that people can use this, you know, in the field. Maybe it's good for stealth play. I don't know. You know, I'll leave it to the commandos to test, but since we don't stealth anyway, we're always going loud. I don't foresee us using this, and I will be using it as a skin mostly, just because, come on, the skins look cool, but I'm not too happy with the perk. It's unique, but again, I think it could have been done better. Anyway, that's my criticism for the armor perk, and that is the last criticism that I have for this Warbond. All right, let me summarize everything for you guys. Okay, so final summary. Here's what I have to say. I love the skins in this Warbond. Okay, they look cool. And I'm talking about the armor skins. I'm not talking about the actual skins. The camo skins are pretty standard for any kind of G.I. Joe kind of dealio. I'm not too happy with the fact that it's only 2 armor sets, down from 3. Not happy with the fact that it's only 1 primary, down from 3. And I certainly don't like the fact that banners and capes are also down from 3, but that's fine, whatever. I do think the patterns are an interesting thing, which opens up customization for the future. Hopefully in future we'll have armor transmogs, because I will wear this jungle set all day, every day, especially that beret helmet. Once I get it, I'm never taking it off. I don't care what armor set I'm wearing, I'm never taking off that beret helmet. I would have paid for the whole Warbond just for the beret helmet. That's how legit that is, okay? In terms of criticism, I am not happy with the primary weapon, because I feel it's just another Liberator variant that will not see a lot of use in the field unless they change their whole weapon balance philosophy. You can go to that timestamp section to see my suggested variation for a primary weapon. Not happy with the utility, because it is replacing a grenade slot when it's a throwing knife that is single target, so there's a lot that could be done there. Not too happy with the booster as well, because experimental infusion, it's going to depend entirely on the duration of how long that lasts. If it is not something that is going to last for a significant period of time, if it's only going to be like a 6-second boost, then it's not really worth taking, and it'll just fall by the wayside as one of those other boosters that we occasionally pick up. And I'm also not too happy with the armor perk. Why? Because although it is unique, although it's pretty interesting, melee damage is not heavily used in the game, because we don't really have melee weapons yet. So unless I'm going to be able to go toe-to-toe with a Devastator, an Automaton Devastator, it's probably not wise to be going too much into melee. Like, if this armor allows me to charge a Devastator, knock it out straight away, then okay, you know, I will happily take this armor into every Automaton fight, because I'll go there, smack the Devastator upside the head, and go kill everything else with my guns. Like, if this armor set makes me feel like a true commando, then absolutely I will use this. But if it's not going to do that, then it might be a bit more of a problem than we think, and that is not something that I want to see happen. So hopefully, you know, it won't be as bad as I think, but I am not too confident, especially after what happened with Polar Patriots, where it was literally an ice Warbond without a single ice perk. So I hope that they do right by this one, but I'm not confident. I'm not hyped. Whatever your thoughts are on this, let me know in the comments of this video. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you to all my channel members and my top supporters for June, making everything that we do possible. Okay, you guys are the king of kings. All right, you can catch their names in the description of the streams. All right, for all my top supporters for June. And also thank you to all of our OnlyFan members, our Plus Ultra members, okay, our Prestige robots, and our Honored robots. Thank you all for everything you do for me, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Y'all have a good one. Catch you later.